Former Prep phenom Jarin Stevenson has entered the portal. After 2 modest seasons at Alabama, he's looking to take his talents and immense potential to a new school. Today, we're breaking down the game film of the 6'11 stretch big and talking about what he brings to the table and how he's going to help his new team.
Bama takeaway. Youngblood. What a pass!
To me, one of his strongest selling points is going to be his ability to act as a stretch big. Now, it's usually at this part in the video where I would go into percentages and why they're such a good shooter, but this is a bit of a unique case. He's a big, he's 6'11", and he can shoot the ball. Now, percentage-wise, he only shot about 31%, but he took 101 attempts, which for a big, I think is really reasonable and respectable. What I kind of have to do at this point is go off of feel with his game and look at his jumper and see how I think that translates either to more attempts or better shots. And I think it looks good, it's repeatable, and that's a really solid stroke for a 6'11 big, right? So when I think about that, I think about the other things it does for your offense. Even if he doesn't shoot more than 33% over his career, the space that having a big like that generates for your guards is indispensable, and it's worth its weight in gold. So when you talk about a next destination for him or where he's going to go, the guards are going to love it the most because they have a big who's not having to live around the rim. Now, he can do that, and we'll talk about it. But for the most part, he's going to space that floor out for them. He's going to give them more angles and more attacking lanes and more ability to do what they do best, which is create offense. So for that reason, I really love it. I think it's just such a huge value add that is going to make him a very valuable piece on the transfer market. Next, I want to focus on his ability just to finish around the rim and see how he does there. So when you watch Jarin Stevenson around the rim, he's adequate. And I think, as we've talked about with his shooting skills, that's fine. You don't need him to be just a back to the basket, overpowering big. I don't think that's what's going to suit him best in the long term. However, I do think that his athleticism flashes on tape, and it's in some ways that you might not typically see from a 6'11 on the college level. He reads cut lanes really well from what I can see. If he's off ball and he notices his defender helps, sags, or moves to a position that's not advantageous for them, he can really shark hard at that opening, get to the rim, and be available for a pass. In transition, he's also a weapon. There's a lot of times where he's running ahead of whoever's guarding him, and that's most likely just because he has an athleticism advantage. Around the rim, he can, get up and finish above the rim, which is something I like to see from someone who is considered to be a plus athlete. I think overall, he looks like he can finish with both hands pretty well, and he does what you would need him to. He can run, he can be a rim runner. We talked about his three-point shooting. He can finish through contact when he has to, and he has some ball skills. From the perimeter, if guys get a little too aggressive with their closeout, he does have the ability to put the ball on the floor, to blow by and get to the rim and finish. And I think that we've talked about it in a lot of these videos, having that counter. So if you want to have shooting be your primary skill set and what you do best, I'm all for it. But you need, at the college level, to be able to have a counter that's going to keep defenders on their heels and to keep them honest, because they can't just run out and try to close out as aggressively as they want to. But overall, again, I think this is an adequate skill set for him and something that'll allow him to be good at the next level. Lastly, I want to look at him as a rim protector. Now, Jarin Stevenson had a modest number of blocks last year. I think he finished the year with 21, but his minutes aren't where I would expect them to be at his new location. And I think he shows traits that give you the confidence to play him at the 4 or the 5. He walls up pretty well. He doesn't get overly bullied. I think that, when you're talking about him in the context of being a stretch big that can shoot the ball and do what he can do on offense, having that anchor ability to an extent on the defensive end is good. He can make plays from behind, given his athleticism. He can chase down if he needs to. So I think there's a lot to like, and some projection, at least, of him to grow as a defender. And this gives you hope and a little bit of stuff on tape to make that jump. So what are my final thoughts on Jarin Stevenson? I think, one, he's a perfect fit for modern basketball. His size and athleticism lets him play multiple positions, and that's huge. I think, secondly, the spacing that he provides to an offense is going to be huge for wherever he lands, and that's just going to make his value go up and up. And lastly, I think that he has true potential as a rim protector. I do know that there are some areas he needs to improve on, and it's a bit of a flyer. It's a risky take in the transfer portal, and it's not someone that's one of these automatic, you know what you're going to get. But from his background and his pedigree as a former #1 recruit at his position, I think you just have to love what he brings to the table. So I'm curious, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let me know if you think that I was spot on with my analysis, or Alabama fans, let me know what you've seen. But as always, I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you on the next one.